Hey, what's going on, guys? Spirit of Halloween here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up your lurching zombie from Spirit Halloween 2014. So, first of all, make sure you take all the parts out of the box, make sure you have everything you need to set it up. The parts list is as follows. So, you're going to get the module labeled F, the two arms or hands labeled N and O, the 2 feet, one's an actual foot and it's labeled C, and then you have the boot here that's labeled D, the tie, the 2 arms labeled L and M, the 4 poles labeled B, the head, the shoulder piece labeled I, the shirt, the pants, the center loop labeled H, the, I think, waist bracket labeled G, I don't know if I said that already, and the adapter and the floor base, which you'll see in a minute. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you're setting up this zombie is the poles here. So you're going to take the pole, which is this whole thing. You're going to want to take this end right here with the hole in the end of it. And over here, there is a button right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a push button. So what you do is you line the hole in the pole with the button, and then you push the button in, push the pole down until it clicks into place, just like that. And you're going to want to do that with these 2 poles. So let me go ahead and do that. Sorry for the camera angle. I got to it's kind of awkward because I got to install it. It's hard to do with one hand, but alright, so once you get that done, it should look like that. The next thing you're going to want to do is take the 2 feet, the actual foot, and then the boot, and you're going to want to slide these. First, you're going to want to slide there's a hole right here in the boot, and you're going to want to slide the boot sideways. It doesn't go straight, it slides sideways, like that, down until all the way to the floor. And then you're going to want to take this one, which has a hole like that, and a hole in the top. You're going to want to match them up, and slide the foot on until it goes all the way down. So you should have something that looks like this. Next, you're going to take the pants, and you're going to want to slide the pants over your assembly. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the camera down and do this, so because it's hard to do it with one hand. You all know that. So once you have the pants slid on, it should look something like this. So there's the pants, there's the feet, the poles, and the base. The next thing you're going to want to do is take the 2 poles, labeled B, and you're going to want to do the same thing. Excuse me. You're going to want to do the same thing that you did when you connected them to the lower base, or to the base on the floor. Just like that. And so I'm sorry for the camera angles. I can't really show you on hand, but it will look something like this when it's clicked into place. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is take your module, and it's got the same setup. It's got the same holes on both sides. You're going to want to take this, and you're going to want to slide it on to the poles, just like so. And then you're going to want to press the button in on both sides. And then you're going to want to twist the pole, and you might have to move it up a little bit so it locks into place like that. Like that. Alright, so the camera needs to focus. That's the next step. If you're using a camera, it needs to focus. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install this loop bracket, but the way this is installed is there's a bar right here that's really thin, and then there's a thicker bar. It's the same thing for the base. There's a bar right here that is or rather a cylinder that's a little bit more rounder than this one. Alright? So take this, and you're going to want to match the thicker bar with the more rounder cylinder. Like that. Alright? Hopefully that makes sense. I do apologize if my words seem somewhat all over the place tonight. It's rather late and I'm really tired, so, but anyway, just like that, go ahead and push it down all the way until it is fully down. Next thing, you're going to want to take the pants and pull them up. Alright? And make sure they're all the way up, not just halfway. Now the pants have Velcros on them, on the insides. Okay? So you're going to want to take this and loop it underneath like that. Okay? Do that for both the front and the back of the pants. And then of course you're going to adjust the pants so that they look unlifelike, because he's a zombie. Okay, next thing you're going to want to do is take the waist bracket. Well, it's not really a waist bracket, it's more the center bracket, because this is the waist, and you're going to slide it over the whole assembly that you have currently. And there's 2 grooves right there, and these will line up. And you're going to want to slide it in just like this. And it should just slide right down in there really easily. Just like that. Okay, so the next part is the same thing as the waist lock, or the waist part. You're going to want to take this thick bar right here. So there's a thinner bar right here, and then there's a thicker bar right here. You're going to want to, and there's the same thing on here. There is a cylinder that's a little bit wider and a cylinder that's not as wide. Line the thin bar with the not as wide cylinder, and the thicker bar with the wider cylinder. And push down, and they should lock into place like that. Okay, so the next part I might have to put the camera down a few times, unfortunately, because I can't do everything with one hand. So you're going to want to take this shirt, and you're going to want to drape it over the entire assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast. Alright. So once you have that done, there is a wire, excuse me, there's a wire. This is for the motion sensor, and then there's a wire that comes out of the motion sensor. Go ahead and connect these 2 up. Should be fairly similar to all the Techie Toys locks. They all have the same type of setup. Or plugs, rather. Okay, the next part is you're going to take these there's Velcros right here and here. You're going to want to put these 2 together and put these 2 together. And yet again, I apologize for the awkward camera angle, because like I said, I can't do this all with one hand. I have to use 2. Okay, so you should have this right now. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to roll these sleeves up just like this. And there's a metal piece. I know that sounds really specific, but there's a metal piece right here that you're going to want to drape them over, just for now. And it should look like this. So it's draped over, and you're going to want to do the same thing for this side. Okay. Alright. So now that you have those draped over, what we're going to do is take the 2 arm pieces. Now these are actually differently sized. The one that's labeled L goes on his left, just like that. If I can actually line it up. Okay. Just like that. And this one goes into the right. This is actually the arm that actually moves upwards as he lurches. Okay, slide that through. Then, if I can get it on, then you're going to have something like this. What we're going to do next is take the arms, and it's the same thing. So the arm piece that slid in, that we just installed just a few seconds ago, this goes on the right arm, and that will just slide into the grooves, just like that. And this one should slide into the other grooves, just like that. So you should have something like this. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the sleeves. Go ahead and pull the sleeves down. So go ahead and pull the sleeves down until it covers the arms. And then there's Velcros. There's Velcros right here. Attach these 2 together and go ahead and adjust the arm like the shirt, so you don't have to see it. Like that. And the other arm, you just basically drape the sleeve, rather, over the arm. There's no actual like Velcroing or anything you have to do like that. Okay. Alright. So now that you have that done, you should have something that looks like this. Alright, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. What you're going to want to do now is take the head, and there's two connectors right there, and then there it connects into there, like that. You're going to want to slide these on, having the head face towards the front of the arms. So the face should face the same way as the arms. Okay? And then last but not least, for the electrical, you got two wires coming from the head and two wires coming from the base. Go ahead and connect them up. And these are really nice plugs. I don't know if I mentioned that in the review, but these are really, really nice plugs. They're not like the cheap plastic Techie Toys ones that seem to wear out all the time and don't last near as long. They're almost audio jacks, I'd like to say. Okay, so you're going to take the tie. Now the tie is tied down here, but it's also splitting off into its own directions. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the tie, and what you're going to do is you're going to twist the tie over the assembly, or actually over the collar. You're gonna run the tie through the collar. All right, and then you're gonna kind of tie it. I know this is a very weird thing, but you're gonna tie it kind of like this, like you're tying your shoes, but don't tie it like in a knot or anything. Just kind of drape it backwards and then adjust it, pull it to adjust. All right. So you should have something that looks like that when it's all adjusted and everything. And you shouldn't be able to see the animatronic. And last but not least, go ahead and take your adapter, and you're going to reach up into him. And that sounds weird, but reach up into him, and you're going to plug. Whoops, you're going to plug the adapter into the spot right here where it says adapter. Alright, so that's all plugged in. And then go ahead and plug him in, turn him on, make sure his volume is all good, and you're all good to go. So, alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this setup. I do apologize if this setup was really long. I know it's longer than a review, but he is really just a very cumbersome animatronic. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you're new, subscribe. And I guess I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you very much for watching.